Greetings, webheads, and welcome to episode 31 of Witty Banter, yet another Marvel Crisis Protocol podcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Alex.
I'm David.
I am McLovin.
We are here to help you get better at and have more fun with your Crisis Protocol. We all went to squad goals, and so we thought we'd kind of give a little bit of a discussion, just sort of about what the experience was, how things went, and maybe what we learned from spending 2 days in a functionally abandoned shopping mall. Sort of felt like I was walking around with Tom, one of our group, and I said it sort of felt like it was like if the Guardians of the Galaxy had nowhere, we had this shopping mall. But before we get into the details, would like you ask you if you could. We would really appreciate it if you could give us a rating and a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to the podcast. That would make a big difference to help other people find the podcast, help us grow the community. You can also come and support us at patreon.com/wittybantercast. For just as little as $1 a month, you can get some really cool benefits. So, okay, enough with the business. Alex, we've got an event that's coming up. Why don't you tell us some more about it?
Yeah, we've got our annual tournament that we host here in Omaha, Nebraska, Bugeater. This year is May 30th, 31st, and June 1st. We have what I wanted to be a team tournament event, but I don't think we're going to be able to pull off a full team tournament. So far, it's just set up as like a warm-up tournament for the Contest of Champions, which will be Saturday. Contest of Champions, just basic Challenger event. And then Sunday, June 1st, we've got the What If event that I run every year. That one is kind of a just for fun event. It's not rated or anything. And it has special rules that everybody will benefit from. I'll announce what those rules are on Saturday for those that are going to be there Sunday. And then the Contest of Champions, it is an event. It's an LVO event, qualifier event. Yeah, that pretty much covers it. All the tickets, majority of it does go towards not only support for the school that's hosting it, but also prize support. So sign up and come enjoy some games with us.
So we'll have the. Oh, go ahead, David. Yeah.
And we'll be there playing. So, like, if you want to meet us or like chat us up or hit us up or anything like that, I'm always down to talk about MCP. So, like, if you come, cool.
And if you want to buy Alex's ass, he does sell, but I believe it's 500,000. Is that right, Alex?
Yes, it was. Yes, the price is $500,000.
Okay, so bring a briefcase, but it is on the label.
Make sure it's non-sequential bills and
I think Patrick gets a cut though, right?
I was not aware of it. I was not aware of any of this.
Who was selling Alex? Who was that?
I don't remember.
It feels like that feels like Tom's vibe. You never would suspect it, but it feels like it's something he'd be doing.
Yeah.
I think it was
the
Tom.
business side of it. Maybe Tom gets a cut.
So, for everything other than that last part, we will have the details of the Longshanks signups for the 3 days. We will have that in the show notes, and in the Longshanks link is the link for you to go and to buy your tickets. Alex, how much are the tickets?
They're $20 a day, or if you want all 3 days, there's a bundle for $50. So you save $10. buy tickets for every day.
That is a way better deal than your ass. So you guys get on top of it. Come hang out with us. Come play games with us. We would love to see you. So, we actually had our group actually took 3 different teams up to Chicago to play, which was a ton of fun. We had the Verbo, and Alex, was good enough to bring a bunch of mats and terrain. So, the Friday night before the tournament started, we had a whole bunch of MCP games going, and the pizza and beer was flowing. It was a really fun time. It was a really fun tournament. It was the first time I'd ever gone to an event like that, and I am definitely looking forward to going to the next one. So, you guys, the 3 of you were one of the teams. So, why don't you just quickly recap the rosters that you guys took? David, why don't you start?
So I took Shield. It was mostly, the regular Shield characters. It was like Namor, Fury, like Spectacular Spider-Man, Age of Venom, She-Hulk, and then I had like Zemo and Sif, and those were my splashes. So like my plan was to just jam Zemo and Sif at people, which actually worked out really, really well.
Alex, what was your roster?
I took Apocalypse, and the roster consisted of Apocalypse, Colossus, Wolverine, Psylocke, Magic, Deadpool, Blob, Beast, Toad, and Bullseye.
And JP, how about you?
I took a Steve list that was scenario focused.
So, I guess let's just start with sort of your overall impression of the event. David, what was one thing that you took away from the 2 days that we played?
So I'll say the terrain was pretty good. I think they got it from Adepticon, I believe. That's where they got the terrain. So
I do think that some of the I know at least some of the terrain was from Adepticon. I think I remember one of the guys saying that.
Yeah, they got all their terrain from Adepticon, if not all of it. I would say 90% of it. It was the same as last year too.
Yeah, so the terrain was really good. The mats were really good. They had even like spacing and stuff, and so it was a nice atmosphere. It was definitely the AC was working at least this year.
Yay!
Holy shit!
And I think there were 32 teams there, weren't there?
No, were there 32? No, I thought there were 20.
Oh, maybe I'm misremembering.
It was 22? 24.
24. Because there were
That's
72
still
players.
24 3-man teams. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean all the sharks were there, right? DeLuca was there, Schmid was there.
Yeah, can confirm. Can confirm lots of sharks that were playing the games.
God, I was gonna say something about terrain.
Okay.
So the terrain was good. They did put a lot more size 5s than I'm used to playing on, but we set up a plan that I basically abused those every time I got to play on a table with a size 5.
Put a pin in that. I want to hear about that. But let me go to JP. JP, what was just kind of your one takeaway from the tournament?
One takeaway. So in theory, a team tournament should be kind of a fun. Not that it wasn't fun, but more. In my mind, it would be more of a casual event. But man, there were a lot of good players there, and I think that might have something to do with My theory is that people who are more involved with the community or their local community are able to form teams, and usually when you have more of a community built, you're playing more often. So I feel like the players who would go to that event counterintuitively might be just better players because they play more often.
That makes sense.
That's my theory. But like the competition was very, very good. I had a lot of good games.
Yeah. Alex, how about you?
I don't know. Like this year was very different than last year. It was nice not having to play a team that we play very often first round. That was super nice. Didn't have to drive 7.5 hours to end up playing Aaron Franklin and Michael and uh, some web
Quentin.
warriors from Quentin. So that was nice to not have to do that. And I don't know. I really enjoyed it this time around. I didn't have to play X Force and rely strictly on do I roll better, and that was super nice. It was a different vibe. I really enjoyed all my opponents that I played against. And like it was super sharky, which I enjoyed because it kind of also tested us to see how well we would do in an event like that.
Was it because you guys went last year? Was it sharkier this year than it was last year?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was
You?
sharkier this year.
I don't know.
I think so too.
I don't know if I'd agree, but I thought last year was pretty sharky too. I can't think of players that showed up this year that weren't there last year. But I mean, just all around, players are solid. Even if I didn't know who they were, there's good players.
So, you guys had, I mean, you kind of had your plans set up in terms of who the offer was going to be, the matchups that you wanted to see, the matchups that you wanted to avoid. JP, how did those plans hold up for you guys over the course of the 5 rounds?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how to answer. So, I guess we should preface it with saying that we went 2 and 3. Is that right? Did we go 2 and 3?
Yeah, 2 and 3.
Yeah. So David's individual record was 4 and 1. He was holding it down. He was mostly the offer. So, like, he was just on fire that day. I was offered once, I believe. I think it was once. And
Was that to dodge? What were we trying to dodge?
I think we were trying to engineer something, and it didn't work. I don't remember. It's all kind of a blur. It's been a little bit. I ended up going into King. They put Kingpin into me, though. Obviously. Because that's what you would do into a scenario list with no pay to flips. And I actually won that game, barely. But yeah, that was the first MCP tournament I've ever been to where I had a losing record. And you know what? I can't even complain because it was a ton of fun. I was just having a good time. We lost first round against a pork roll team. And it was just like, okay, well, gonna have fun now. And it was still like, still trying to win, but
Sure.
Can't win, so.
Alex, did as the tournament kind of went on, were there ways that either the game started or the games played out that surprised you?
I'm sorry, I don't think I understood the question. Can you repeat it one more time?
Sure. So, as you went through, obviously, you're preparing for a tournament like this. You kind of are mentally repping and thinking through how things are going to happen. Did anything either from the way the game started out and who got put in with who, or as the games themselves played out, was there anything that stands out that really surprised you, or something that you encountered that you didn't expect?
The only thing that I really encountered that I didn't expect, there was a lot more Asgard than I thought there would be. But then I thought about it and was like, well, Asgard, like Prince Thor is really good in the Apocalypse, so I can see a lot of people bringing them. But they were mostly there for a pivot into Apocalypse, because I'm pretty sure almost all Avenger players had a pivot into Asgard just in case. One thing that I was surprised didn't show up as much as I thought it would was Dracula. I didn't see as much Dracula as I thought there was going to be. I thought damn near every team was going to have a Dracula somewhere.
Why did you think that?
Because the Dracula fans are everywhere. They just exist everywhere. Like I cannot believe how many Dracula fans there are. It blows my mind.
I do love me
Yeah.
some Dracula.
I also
There's two of you in here already, so I mean, just
Yeah,
based
I
on my
also-
statistic, that's
I also-
50%.
Yeah, I also love me some Dracula. I had to sort of had to have him pulled out of my roster, kicking and screaming. David, how about you? What over the course of the 2 days surprised you, or did you encounter that you didn't expect?
So I guess one thing I would say is like if so what we did was, since I was the offer most of the time except for the one time, we got to choose what table I was going to be on. So we usually when we would see what tables we're playing on, I would like try to stick myself on the size 5s, because I realized I have like Hawkeye who can ignore line of sight, and I've got like a bunch of characters with like either flight or web swing, and like Shieldmobile works over size 5s. Helios ignores line of sight and stuff. So like I was like, oh, we'll just put me on these size 5s, and it turned out that was like fantastic. I mean, there was one game where I completely bullied my opponent because I had use of the size 5, and like he couldn't shoot on half of my stuff because I like positioned it on the back side of the size 5, so he had to climb up onto it, and like it was like just not it was not great. Like Hawkeye was a fucking menace. That guy, oh my god. If he gets a hammer, he's just stupid.
Yeah.
What else did I notice? What surprised me? I would say I mean, there were a lot of Apocalypse players there. I mean, I knew Apocalypse would be popular, but man, there was a lot more Avengers than I thought there would be, for sure.
Do you think Apocalypse specifically? Do you think that has? I mean, some of it's obviously just because it's a new hotness thing, but it strikes me that Apocalypse also is kind of uniquely adapted to team tournaments events, because most of the characters that he wants to take, nobody else wants to take.
Yeah, me and Deaton were talking about that because I was talking to him after the end of our second game or something, because I was trying to plug him to come to Bugeater. And anyways, so we were talking about that, and we were talking about how Apocalypse, it's like nobody really wants to take the Apocalypse characters as splash characters, and
Right.
so like nobody's like chomping at the bit to like throw Colossus in their roster. Not that I think Colossus is bad or anything, but like he's just not. Nobody's trying to splash him.
Right.
So it creates less friction between the rosters, and the crisis that Apocalypse like to take are also like a easy way to like compile a set of the crisis together since it's a singleton crisis.
Right. Yeah, let's talk about the crisis a little bit. JP, this is one of the first events that we're getting to play with the new crisis pack. How often did you end up seeing Crisis from the War of Kings as opposed to the standard Crisis, and what did you see, and how did they change the way the game's played?
You want a one sentence answer to your question? Fuck canisters.
Tell me more. Tell me more about fuck canisters.
Well, I was playing Avengers and I was playing Riots. And 2 of my 5 games ended up on Riots canisters. So my plan on Riots is to move long and heal myself and just keep away. With canisters, I can't do that. So, like, every character I want to take on Riots is add-on canisters, and it was kind of a fucking awkward nightmare. Like, Sam is awesome on Riots, terrible on canisters. So yeah, my first round was into Midnight Suns, who I also didn't really want to go into. So it was like Midnight Suns, canisters, fuck my life. I ended up taking something weird. I took Hulk, Shang-Chi, Steve, and Luke Cage. And he went 5 wide with A-Bomb. I had Prio. I mid-stole with Hulk and moved to my back right, and then he double moved A-Bomb to my back. Canister, and then bumped back to the flank riot. I didn't have anyone to steal his flank. No one long enough to move, so he basically went up 3-2 on canisters without Prio. And that was probably like my least close game, and it was still like a pretty good game. I couldn't kill a fucking mummy to save my life. 5 health, you'd think be able to do something. I had to learn like a bunch of actions and like a recalibration matrix and a chi mastery just to like daze this fucking mummy. It was ridiculous.
He's sturdier than you expect.
I mean, I've played a decent amount of 5 health damage reduction characters. Like, this mummy was just like staying up. It was nuts. I think that game ended 18-14. I just couldn't make it happen. Blade Clink came in and like picked on Steve finally. Steve just kind of crumbled. I missed some triggers that I needed. It was a game that was close. It could have come back my way if dice had gone better, but they didn't. And that's kind of how MCP goes. It was a fun game. He brought A-Bomb, Mummy, Blade, Man-Thing, and Wong. I couldn't get any traction in the game. Not enough anyway. So that's how it goes. 18-14, whatever. But canisters definitely fucked me. Like, if we had landed on some of my other secures, it might have been better. I had Wedding Party and what is it? Scoundrels. Just the riot, the interaction between riots and canisters is just god awful. And I ended up playing that combination twice that day. I ended up playing on riots. Oh shit! 1, 2, 3. 3 out of my 5 games were on riots, and 2 of those riot games were with canisters. It was just brutal. And then my other riot game wasn't with canisters, but it was against a defenders player with pentagrams. So it was just Lots of awkwardness for my list.
How about you, Alex? What was your impressions with regards to the new Crisis? How did it make the game feel different, if at all, for you?
Um, so I had a weird experience when it came to like the new crises, and uh, it was kind of a similar experience JP had, playing Terrigen multiple times. I played Scientific Samples, I believe, 4 times.
Oof.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 games. I'm pretty sure I played Scientific Samples. It may have been 3, but still, I played Scientific Samples 3 times. Um, and then I played Mutant Madmen 4 times, and I played Intrusions once. I mean, it really didn't change up too much. There's definite trend of what new crises are getting played more often. I feel because I didn't even hear of any games getting played with inhuman weapons and whatever the hell the other extract is. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
David, so did the changes in the threat levels, was that noticeable? I mean, we don't have a 15 anymore, and the way the numbers come out, it's really, the band is almost entirely pushed, or majority pushed, just through 17 through 19. Was that noticeable in terms of sort of the way you would plan your rosters, or think about how to play your rosters?
So, actually, funny story about that. So, I could have played all of my games at 18 threat. Like, it was like most of the time my opponents with prio would take their secures and I would take my extracts, which are 18. So it's like, oh, well, I'm just gonna play at 18. And like that's what I did. And it turned out pretty freaking awesome to have like all my games were 18s, or well, I had 2 19s and 2 18s, but I could easily just like go, okay, this is the team that I need to play right here. Which is not something I was like previously. You'd get a lot more variance of threat levels, it would seem. I guess maybe because the pool is closer, and I think people are taking the crisis that like float around the same threat levels.
I also engineered the list to be an 18 threat list, or bring 18 threat squads, right? So that kind of proof of concept there.
Yeah, and it actually worked out pretty good. I played a game against APOC on, I think it was Inhuman Weapons, and what I did was I just like stole with Namor, and then I used Fury Grunts and Fury to steal the other 2. So basically so my first activation, I walk up with Namor, pick up mid, walk back. He walked up and picked up with, I think, Toad on the corner one. So then I walked Fury up and Grunts, and I picked up both. And I was like, at first I was like, I don't know if this is any good. And then I realized that once I moved She-Hulk into bodyguard range, it was pretty freaking cool, because he like tried to put attacks into my Grunts so that he could take the weapon off of him, right? With like Deadpool, because he did the move. I think he was was he Famine? I think he was a Famine one. He was a Famine. So he just like moved up, famined up, shot, and I bodyguarded with She-Hulk, and then I just like walked. Well, I waited, and then he did like maybe 1 point of damage to She-Hulk, and then he tried to shoot him again, and then I was like, okay, I'll bodyguard, and then I used that attack to like aggressive towards him, so that at the top of the next round I was like standing next to Deadpool with She-Hulk, and then at the top of the round I just like punched Deadpool, threw him into the like a what did I throw him, like a building or something, and he dazed him, took his thing, and then walked She-Hulk back to the back point where I had Fury and the grunts with the other 2 Inhuman weapons. It was pretty crazy. And then I was like spending the rest of the game staggering his Apocalypse, and like his Apocalypse didn't do much. And then he had a round where he double moved Apocalypse like right up next to She-Hulk. I don't know why he did that. I don't know if it was. I guess it maybe was probably his out, because he figured if he could daze Zemo and flip the point, he could keep the score. But it was a mistake, because I just was like, all right, I'm gonna activate She-Hulk, double punch 11 dice builders, slow you, and throw you into your deployment zone. And that's literally what happened. And then I shield mobiled She-Hulk back to my back point with Fury, and Namor was over there at that time. Basically, my whole team was on that corner meteor. Like, okay, you can't flip any of these other meteors. What are you gonna do? Do you daze Zemo, who's sitting on the other point in cover with a bunch of rerolls, which he did not do, and it cost him the game essentially. My like using She-Hulk to just throw him like completely out, and because he had to like move because he was slowed, he had to famine hop, and then he was still barely in range 3, so I had cover, and then he just shot me with 7 dice. Like, okay, I got 3 dice, bunch of rerolls and cover. It was just it didn't work out in his favor. So yeah, I think in Human Weapons, like that really, it's interesting because it forces interaction in the center of the table, but if you can sort of play keep away with them, it gets like, if you can go up somehow and like play keep away, it's pretty good.
JP, did you get paired up, or was there anything in terms of your opponent's lists or how they played them that struck you as something that was memorable?
Memorable as in like a uniqueness?
Something that surprised you, or something that a use for either a roster or a character that you hadn't seen before, you hadn't thought about before, just something out of the ordinary, I guess.
My last game I played against a Defenders team with Doctor Strange leadership. Oh, that was kind of neat. That was a game I played Riots, and he had pentagrams with Wong. And yeah, I think the Doctor Strange leadership's not. So at first I was kind of scared because I'm running Steve Rogers and a bunch of dudes who don't like mystic attacks, and like the Doctor Strange leadership is pretty good into that. And actually, you know what? Now the more I think about this game, the more it had unique qualities to it. So I was scared of the leadership a little bit because, anytime you're playing a Steve list, you just hate those mystic attacks. Turns out, the end of the game, we were playing Riots and Cubes, so taking damage, healing, blah, 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 blah. I had all healthy characters at the end of the game, 0 damage on anybody. First game that's ever happened.
How'd that happen?
Riots, just healing.
Oh.
He wasn't attacking me. He wasn't getting attacks in on me. I had gone up on extracts and basically he was running voodoo and he had set up a pentagram at midboard on round 2. And I was just playing really, really cagey because I didn't want to give him an extract lead because then he just collapses and I have to chase him. So I had given up a lot of the secures by about round 3. And I was just camping my back. And because I had 3... I think I had 3 cubes, yeah. So I was getting 4 points, and he ended up getting 4 points because he had 1 or what was it? We were fighting over one of the blanks, so it was kind of scrappy. I think he had 2 of the cubes and like the back and one of the flanks, and then we were kind of fighting over one. So we were kind of maintaining score parity. Voodoo is just such a threat, though. Voodoo with a pentagram play, he can just hop through. He can hop through and possess multiple people and pick up. And since we're in cubes, it's like multiple pickups, so the game can flip just so quickly. He also played a card that I've never played against, the Vapors of Valtor, or whatever it's called. It's basically a shell game where you have a 2 in 3 chance of fucking up and allowing your opponent to reroll any of your attack dice. So he played that on Voodoo on the final round, and I wasn't able to kill Voodoo. It was a really crazy fun game though. Steve Rogers, like Voodoo activated. Well, he did the thing with the Vapors, and then Voodoo activated, moved. He possessed once. He was out of range to possess Miles, and then he attacked Steve, got the throw trigger, threw him backward, and then went through the pentagram. So I had to burn Avengers Assemble because of the throw, and then move medium to get to the pentagram. Ported through it, did a spender, just a 6 dice spender, rolled 4 crits, ended up with 7 successes, and I think I needed either 3 or 4 to daze Voodoo. Obviously, I missed the shell game. He says, reroll your 7. I reroll my 7 into 0. And that was the last action of the game, which ended... The score was 16-17.
Wow.
So, on that note, that game ended. My last action determined the game. My round 3 opponent, my last action of that round, won me the game. Actually, it wasn't even an action. It was basically a coin flip on a pay to flip. Won me the game. Like, it was silly. So I had 2 crazy close games, and then my game against Kingpin was super close too. My last activation with Hulk won me the game. It was like neck and neck. We went like 5-5, 9-9, 13-13, and then I was able to cinch it with a Hulk activation at the very end. But my games were so crazy close. I had every single game, I was in it. Like, there wasn't any kind of blowout scenario. It was insane. My 4th round opponent, the game did slip away from me, but he made... I guess I'm kind of going on a tangent. We'll save some stories. The Defenders game was definitely the standout for uniqueness in several different ways.
Alex, this was kind of your first major tournament where you played Apocalypse. Is that right?
Yeah, this is first major one with Apocalypse so far.
So how did Apocalypse feel swimming into a Shark Tank like this? What would you learn about your affiliation bringing him to something like this?
I think Apocalypse, he's gonna do very well, especially with all the new updates. If the rumors are true about him, Apocalypse is in a very good spot. I've been part of many Discords now, thanks to all the people that added me to Discords to help advertise things. But the discussion overall that I've seen about Apocalypse is he's great and he makes mediocre characters good. And we've talked about it before on the podcast. We've talked about it plenty of times in person on game nights. I agree with that statement 100%. He's just going to get better and better as people get comfortable and learn what to do with him and how to make him a menace.
Yeah, you definitely need a plan when you're going into Apocalypse, which I mean, like, I'm in the like we're just gonna bring She-Hulk camp, right? Because that's what you do, right? And I mean, it's better than I thought it was. And I was running it way back in the day. I was running She-Hulk and Shield, and she just like would get melted.
Right.
And I don't like. Shout out to DeLuca because DeLuca was talking about his She-Hulk play, and he talked about like just playing She-Hulk a completely different way than I had been playing her before. Because usually I would just be like, okay, I'm gonna shield mobile up, and we'll double punch you and like daze you and whatever and take your thing, which works sometimes, but it doesn't always work. And sometimes you end up overextending She-Hulk, and that like it kind of she gets blown up if you're overextending her. And one of the things DeLuca had said was to with She-Hulk to never leave her activated in range of multiple enemy characters. So basically you hold her activation until you see that she's like either taking enough damage that you're going to lose her, or that she is like safe to activate and she's not going to get that much reprisal. And it actually is pretty good. Even if some of my activations were like, I had like one activation where she just walk up, throw somebody away, and then walk back and stand there and be a bodyguard, which actually was pretty good. So, I mean, that's what I would do as far as like going into Apocalypse. So, I mean, you're going to have to plan now, I think, because Apocalypse is just such a good roster and such a good character that like his leadership is fantastic. But he's like, he's going to have to, all rosters going forward, I think, in tournament play are going to have a plan for Apocalypse. It's just how it is.
JP, so I get why you'd see a ton of Apocalypse in a team event just because of some of the solutions he provides in terms of team construction. Do you think that Apocalypse is at a point now where you're going to be seeing lots of him at just a standard challenger event, standard singles event?
Yes, I do. There are a lot of things. The winds of change have been good for Apocalypse. A lot of the Kaijus got nerfed. The scenarios, scenario rotation was all good for him. And as Alex had said, the character updates sound like they are going to be a net positive for him. So it's just a lot of factors that are in his favor that add up to, I think, a significant result for him. When I took him to LVO this year, I knew that I was stepping into a meta with him that probably wasn't very favorable. With just the heavy presence of Thor too. But now that Thor and what's up?
And Thanos to some extent.
Yes.
And Thanos to some extent,
Now
right?
now that Thor and Thanos are gone, there aren't really a lot of big guys. Like, I-Hulk still might be a problem. I'm not sure. I haven't played the Midnight Suns match too much with APOC. I think APOC does have some tools in the Midnight Suns that are very good. I'd have to test it to see exactly where it stands. Like throwing APOC into his team with just builders from I-Hulk seems really good, but I think there's counterplay to it too. So
it fucking sucks. I hate it. Every game we've played, I just read that goddamn model with Apocalypse. I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, you do have one brace for impact. You have 2 recalibration matrices if you need them. There's positioning. There's stuff you can do. Blob's really annoying in the Midnight Suns.
Oh, for sure. They've got their tools. It still doesn't diminish from the fact that it fucking sucks.
Yeah, I mean, if they're rolling hot and they're just rolling wilds every can attack, it's going to be a bad day for you probably, especially on a cramped scenario space.
And when if luck is on their side, well, that's just 23 damage that you're throwing into your opponent. Like, okay, it costs 5 power when it's all said and done, but with those 2 builders, if you're getting those wilds off, you more than likely got the 5 power that you needed, and that's before the power you generated from the power phase.
Well, and you can use Blob to like body block to prevent people from getting thrown into your like APOC getting thrown into your people, right?
You can, yeah. There's tools. It's just if your opponent that's playing I-Hulk is smart and is somewhat lucky after all those recals, after hoping for the wilds, and after the free attack from darkness or siege of darkness. If luck's on their side, it's just 20 free damage. You have to roll 3 wilds, and it's just 20 damage.
It is pretty good. Siege is a pretty good card.
So, with the benefit of hindsight, is there anything about your team construction or about your crisis selection that you would have done differently? David, what do you think?
So I think I would drop sacrifice from my roster because I took it. So sacrifice is my other restricted besides brace, and brace is just brace, right? I took sacrifice in one of my games and did not find a use for it. Like it ended up me not using it. Not I didn't lose the game, but like I always hate having like a tactics card that I hadn't used at the end of a game. I always feels like, well, I could have taken something else that would have been better, right?
Is that because the game was just real scory, or just you guys were spread out, or was it just kind of just how it worked out?
There was a lot of that. There was a lot of the spread out nature, and there were just situations where I just was like, I don't know if I need sacrifice here. We're either spread out or I'm not sure I'm going to have people like around 2 of each other. I mean, I'm going to try to, but like sometimes that doesn't always work.
Right.
It's usually part of the plan, but it just felt like I never had opportunities to want to take the card. And I realized in a couple of my games, if I would have taken fallback, I might have had I could have made a better play. Because there was a game. So my only loss was to Midnight Suns. I played Jeremy. And come to find out, Jeremy is the top ranked Midnight Suns player. so I don't feel so bad about getting curb stomped by him. But he, like, well, one, he decided, he told me that he didn't play iHulk that game because he said that he saw She-Hulk on my tray and was just like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. Which was actually kind of my plan. Like, I figure if she's sitting on my tray and it's like forcing my opponent to not play a model that I don't want to deal with, then I'm good with that, right?
Mm.
So, man, his roster, his character choices were like great. Like, as soon as he put down his models and I put down my models, I was like, fuck, I'm gonna lose this game. Because I realized that I should have taken Agent Venom and Black Widow. I took Zemo and Spectacular instead. And yeah, it wasn't great. He did some really cool plays. He pushed up Red Skull like basically right into me because he could use the bump. So like Red Skull 2 is just like amazing in Midnight Suns. So he like pushed up and he used what did he do? He basically just like he used his Red Skull's tactics card, the one that like gives conditions, and he
Cosmic
gave
Obliteration.
Sif. Yeah, he gave Sif Hex and he incinerated Zemo and just like proceeded to like pound Zemo into the ground with like 6 dice builders that count blanks. So he just like waxes my Zemo. And then I'm like, all right, I guess I'll go with Sif. There was one attack where I had full rerolls, including skulls, and it was just a builder, and I rolled 4 crits and a wild, and I was like, if I wasn't hexed right here. It was really rough. And then so he basically, and he didn't attack Sif at all. Like, he spent the whole game just like ignoring her, which was unusual because usually Sif is just like murdering everything. But like the hex play was just so strong. I probably should have shook it, but man, that just feels bad. And then there was an activation where so at the top of the last round, so his freaking Man Thing, shout out to Man Thing. That dude is way better than I give him credit for. Like, Man Thing's pretty good. His Man Thing fucking one-shots my Namor after I Battlefield medicined him to like full health. And yeah, he just walks up, Mystic Attack. I'm already incinerated. He just one-shots him with his spender. Which was like, oh my god!
Let him use your dice for that attack or what?
I don't know. It was ridiculous. So I was like, oh fuck. So my Namor's like dazed. Hawkeye had the hammer, and Hawkeye was like doing Hawkeye things. He fucking dazed Blade on round 1.
Oh my god!
I just like walked up, shot a 6 dice attack with a hammer into him, ignoring line of sight because we played on the size 5 because I played on the Sanctum. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna use this thing to like basically shield Hawkeye, right?
I feel like Hawkeye could shoot a hammer if he wanted.
Yeah, he probably could.
I don't think that's inaccurate.
So he like dazes Blade on round 1, and then like stupid Man Thing, like that guy. So I had an activation where I was like, okay, we were playing hammers, so it was like Man Thing had a hammer and Blade had like maybe 3 health left or something like that. And I was like, okay, I got Namor with a bunch of power, so I'm going to spend her into the Man Thing. I'm going to take his hammer. I'm going to spend her Blade. And then I think we were playing riots, and then I was going to interact with the riot and like basically back up. And so I was like, okay. I spendered Man-Thing. I don't even think I did any damage to Man-Thing. I maybe did like 1. And then I take his hammer because I forced him to drop it. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to spend her in a blade. And I didn't end up dazing him. I don't think I only did like, because he rolled really hot with his defense and he had the reroll. So I think I did like maybe 5 damage to him or something, and he blocked it all. So I ended up getting incinerated from Man-Thing. So then I backed up and I was like, okay, what is he going to do? So he ends up, what did he do? He like managed to bump onto the sanctum, right? Like he managed to he bumped on the sanctum. What did he do? He bumped onto the sanctum. He Siege of Darkness and dazed Hawkeye, took his hammer, then he spendered Namor, and then walked back onto the point. I was like, oh my god. That was like, and then I realized if I had fallback, I could have pushed it out so that he couldn't have picked up the hammer.
Right.
But what I really should have done was I should have activated Hawkeye with priority and just like Daze Blade. But I was so like just frustrated at fucking Man-Thing. I was like, I want to take your stupid hammer and I want to Daze Blade and get the fuck out of here. And like it just didn't work out. Meanwhile, the rest of the game, fucking Red Skull was like curb stomping like Zemo into the ground, and like he was holding all the back points because he had Encantu and the Red Skull grunts sitting on his back D. So basically I couldn't do anything. I had to like basically try to break parity with the hammers and hope that I could bunker up, but like it just didn't work. Yeah. He was a fantastic player. Like he was really good. Like his play was just super clean, and like I played you guys so much. I'm used to how you guys play and everything, and like he just is
the
like
fuck you
so
saying?
More... What? He was fucking... What? He was just different. Like he's
I hope really Jeremy's listening and masturbating really hard right now. Yeah, this thick glaze that you're laying on this man.
Nobody can say that Man-Thing ain't sexy, man. JP
David can't even continue. He's laughing too much.
Okay, so we're gonna move this cast along. JP, is there anything in retrospect that you would have changed either with your rosters or your tactics cards or your crisis selection?
I would have drawn my opponent's extracts better.
Is this a canisters thing again?
So both those canisters games, they had the exact same extracts. They had scrolls, which I had in my list. They had senators, which I had in my list. And then they had canisters. And yeah, I just low rolled every game. And landed on riots. So that was... if I'm answering your... if I'm being serious answering your question, I guess maybe... I'd say like I might take a pivot to like non-Avengers so that I'm not as threatened by like Mystic teams, because like APOC Magic, and then you've got like Blade, Voodoo, and then Encantu, stuff like that. In Midnight Suns, I didn't really want to go into those guys too much, and there were a lot of them there. Maybe I take a pivot, but then I have to redo my whole list because I was very scenario focused. Mm-hmm. And if I have a pivot, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I take more mid-rangey and like maybe take some slower scoring stuff. I don't know. I liked my list. It was fine. I ended up taking Bill out last minute for Jane for a little bit more punch if I needed to go taller. Because I had Hulk, Jane, and then like Steve and whoever. I could make a pretty decent like 4-wide team, which I was fine with. I never had to bring it out because just like a scenario play was always better, or the points didn't work, whatever. I played Jane one game and I won that game, but I shouldn't have taken Jane objectively. I just wanted to play her. Just wanted to get her on the table, and it's probably a good thing I did because I didn't do it any other game.
Mm-hmm.
With hindsight, I probably would take her out and put Bill back in because Bill. I mean, I do have Steve I did have Steve Panther and Shang-Chi there, so I already had 3-4s. But Bill, there's some nuance with Bill that makes him better than some of those picks sometimes. I mean, obviously you're running Steve every game, but like
The size 4 displacement is really nice.
yeah, and the medium mover can get you back. Like if there's one guy who's gonna back dive an F extract, it's probably Bill. Like Panther can do it too, but into some teams it's a little bit more sketch. Like Mystic attacks, just having that damage reduction is pretty crazy. Because all they're throwing is builders round one. It's not like they can like really tee off on you. So just having that damage reduction is pretty nice, and it just pays for itself. Like it doesn't pay for itself, but you're taking 2, you prevent 1, you take 1, you get a power. Now you can do it again. Like it adds up.
Well, and
like you said, the size 4s I only had. The only other person I had with size 4 was Hulk, right?
Well, the other thing with Bill too is like if you back dive, he already has the power to reduce. Like,
Yes.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be nice to have the size 4 throw online immediately. I mean, I've played into Apocalypse with Bill. It feels pretty good. I do like it. I figure Jane might be like a decent swap for it because she has size 4 throw on her Hunter builder and stuff, but she's harder to fit in at 5. It's subtle, but it's definitely a thing. Like you're taking a 4 threat leader and then taking a 5, it makes it hard to go 5 wide in a lot of scenarios. And my list was kind of set up to go 5 wide.
Well, and Bill's immunities are also pretty good in Apocalypse, right?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have been as. I think Bill would have probably made the matchups I didn't want would have been a little bit more easy to swallow if I had Bill, probably. Because I didn't end up playing Jane the way I thought. It was a last minute change. I'm like, you know what? I've got 4 4s. I'm going to take one out. I'm going to take out the non-affiliated. I'm going to put in Jane just in case. Might end up on like something where I want to take her and want to go taller. It just didn't actually happen, and Bill was just a better pick for the day. Like the Kingpin player I played took 2 size 4 characters, so Bill would have been pretty good there. Like Rhino APOC or Rhino A-bomb. I did bring Hulk that game, but like Bill into Kingpin is really good because he just tells the size 4 to get the fuck off his lawn, and it's a wrap, right? Like you don't get your leadership, you're way out in the fucking boonies, and Bill's fucking your bitch on the secure.
Well, and like I would also say that like A-bomb and Kingpin was more prevalent than I thought. Especially A-bomb. I wasn't expecting to see as many A-bombs.
Well, A-bomb in Midnight Suns is pretty insane with his movement and having 2 power for a bump and an extract pick. He just gets a lot of places, and he can get back to relative safety. Like being a 7 health chassis with DR is nothing to be ashamed of either. So,
Alex, is there anything you would have changed with regards to either your roster or your tactics cards or your crisis selection in hindsight?
Nope, not a damn thing I'd change. I was super pleased with my roster. All my games, thinking about it, like it came down to like one or two key objective flips, like pay to flip, coin flips with Mad Men. I look back at how many Mad Men games I played. I played 4 Mad Men games, and 2 of them I lost because of coin flips, and they were pretty pivotal, important coin flips. So it is what it is with that. But no, there's not a single thing I would have changed. I love the roster, but one thing I would
How
change in terms of how we build our team. I think the next team tournament we're gonna let JP. I think JP should pick the affiliation he wants to play first, because every other team event we've gone to, he's always been kind of last pick.
Yeah, maybe we could try it. I honestly don't know if it would have helped me any.
Oh, I'm not saying it would have helped or hindered you in any way. I'm just saying,
I
like,
just
every event you always get last pick, so
yeah. I
I think you should get first pick sometimes.
Those low roll canister games were just painful. I'm gonna
Yeah,
talk about my game here. So my other game was against the same. It was the same round that David played Jeremy. We were playing one of the Meatmen teams, and it was Ron. I'd never met Ron. I'd seen him around at tournaments and stuff. Real cool dude, but he had Inhumans, and I low rolled his canisters. And I set up. I had a setup. I grabbed center with Miles, and then he grabbed my back with Quicksilver, and then I double moved Panther to grab his back, and then he made I can't remember what he activated next. It wasn't to get an extract or anything. I moved up Steve to be in bodyguard range of Miles and be in cover. I was feeling really good about my board position. I left my back extract, my back canister by Chi, kind of hanging there, kind of as bait. I wanted to see if he would take it with Cat, because he had set Cat up on that side. Like double long move gets her there all day, and he ended up doing it. I was like, okay, I respect it. Let's see what happens. So I pay 1, charge with Chi, roll my dice, do 0 damage. Like, all right, cool. Law of averages. Pick up my dice, roll them again, do 0 damage. Like, all right, cool. This is going well. But I have prio. I'm like, okay, I can make something happen. Next round, top of the round, I activate Chi. I punch Cat. I do 1 damage. So I've got Chi Mastery sitting in front of me, right? So it's like, at this point, I spent 1 to charge on round 1. I gen 0 power. Round 2, I gen 1 power. In power phase, I have 1. I punch, do 1. I have 2 power. I can't even play Chi Mastery yet. So I punch again and do 2 damage. So 4 6 dice attacks, I do 3 damage to Cat. If I had, and I'm trying to remember what his blocks were. If I had it reversed, if I had done 2 on the first attack, I'm wondering if I could have Chi Masteried. I'm trying to remember how many blocks he had on the second attack. I'm wondering if I could have Chi Masteried his blocks down to 0 and like dazed her.
Can you Chi Mastery in the Cat? Because doesn't that count as modifying dice? You can't modify dice against her.
You can't do one side of it, but you can do the other.
Yeah, you modify her dice.
Oh, that's right. Duh. Makes sense. Never mind.
So yeah, it was just like I still think I take that all day. Like, I get 4 attacks into your Cat with Chi. Like, okay, I think I put that bait out every time. Like, the average dice definitely obliterate Cat. it just wasn't happening. Especially with Chi Mastery, man, it just felt bad. And then he ran away with her, and there was a size 4 on that side, and he got past it and got on the riot and started healing. Couldn't even see her. I moved Miles over there, did a web swing kick, did 0 damage. It was just a clown show. My team was just a bunch of fucking dipshits. She was just laughing at me all. I took Chi all 5 games. That dude was just laughing at me all day. Like, yeah, you think I'm good? Not when you roll dice, bitch. So yeah, that game ended up just slipping away, but that was such a pivotal point in the game so early that it was kind of unusual. Like high risk, high reward for him, and kind of for me too. But I just, like, with 4 attacks into her, I just thought it was like pretty high chance of me just getting a huge upper hand early, and it just ended up backfiring really badly, and he ended up, rotating, denying one of the flanks, and then like shifting focus to the other flank and bringing Bolt in and killing people, and it just started slipping away. So, but yeah, that was another cool canister game.
So, what after kind of what do we think? What do you guys think in terms of where the state of the game is right now? I mean, now we've had a chance to kind of settle in with the new crisis. We've had Thanos and Thor 2 that have gotten the nerf stick. How do you feel about the current status of just the game as a whole? David, what do you think?
Well, first, let me. I want to shout out one of my games. So I played Alec, and he is a listener. So I was pretty excited to hear that. So I figured I would shout it out and talk about our game. So he played Guardians. He brought. What did he bring into me? He brought Star-Lord, CGR, Bill, and frick, I don't remember who else he brought.
Groot.
Oh, it was Rocket Groot. So we were playing on Infinity Formula and what was the extra? I think it was Montesi Formula. This was one of the times I could have picked, or I picked 18 because it ended up being 18. So he what did he do? So on I want to say on the first round, so I did the thing. I moved Namor up. I grabbed. No, wait. I didn't have Prio. He had Prio. So
That's a good story, David.
yeah, I know, right? So he, what did he freaking do? I did something with Namor, but anyways, going back to CGR. So his CGR activated on round 1, and he moves and one-shots my Zemo in cover with 2 rerolls and skulls on round 1. So I'm like, holy shit. I was like, okay, I blocked 3 because all the cool stuff. And he's like, I got 9. And I'm like, what? Yeah, just fucking smokes my Zemo. And I was like, oh, I guess it's going to be one of those games. And then on the next round, he high rolls his fucking power and rolls like 5. And he activates CGR and Spender's fucking Tony and just takes him off, or dazes him. I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. And then he builders into Zemo and dazes Zemo. or KO Zemo. And so now I'm like, oh, I just got Tony on this side of the table. I'm like, holy shit, what do I do? So in that round where he KO'd, or in that activation where he KO'd Zemo, he ended up giving me Prio. So on the next round, I had like Prio and like a shit ton of power on all my characters. So I was like literally counting up my power stacks like poker chips because I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna Helios for now. And I activate Tony and I I spendered and I threw somebody into CGR. I think it was Star-Lord or something. And then I just Heliosed CGR from like he had no damage on him. So I like just one shot him with 22 dice. It felt pretty good. But he got two or three CGR spenders off. Like he was hot rolling his power. Man, I was like, this game's gonna fall apart. Well, and in the beginning of so his first activation was he took middle point with Bill, and I put Namor and Sif like directly across from that because I was like, okay, if he goes and takes it with somebody, I'll just kill them with between Namor and Sif, right? And so he takes it, and I walk up with Namor. I put a 6 dice builder in him, do no damage to him, don't get the stagger. Or no, I didn't charge, but didn't do any damage to him. And then I was like, okay, fine. I'll walk Sif up, and then I charged him. And I attacked him 5 dice, reroll, and still I did no damage to Bill. And so then the next round, Bill just like ran away into the corner with like Rocket and Groot, and I was like, I gotta break this thing up. He told me that one of the plays he thought that I did that was really cool was there was an activation where I needed to daze. So Bill had 1 health, right? So I needed to daze or KO Bill, and I needed to push Rocket away from Groot so that I could kill Rocket and take his objective, right? So I was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spender into Groot, and I pushed Rocket away from Groot, and I KO'd Bill because Bill can't reduce Namor's damage, which felt really good. And then I just like dazed Rocket and took his thing and then ran away. It was pretty cool.
Sounds like animal abuse, man.
Yeah, they were fucked up Rocket's day,
and Bill.
Yeah, the horse punching,
horses and rockets getting all kinds of bad things. Next thing you know, you're gonna be punching the dog.
Do plants have feelings? If it's a talking plant, it must.
I think he has feelings.
Groot definitely has feelings.
I don't know what it is about David, but he really is beating on everything. First the fucking dog, then the horse, then the raccoon, then the trees. Beat them all.
Because a villain locked this fuck up.
So I did tell him at the end of the game that he should have taken Age of Venom. So if you're listening to this, take Age of Venom. If you see Namor on their tray, you just take Age of Venom. That's what you do. He's like fantastic in the Namor. Yeah, he should have taken Age of Venom instead of Bill, and that probably would have gone a little differently. But it was a very fun game, and like I was like, holy shit, like the dice are just like, I was like, is this going to be the game where my dice are just like shit the entire game and I can't do anything?
What game is that? Give me a break. This guy.
It certainly felt like it, getting my fucking Zemo one shot.
It's like a 1 in 50 game.
So, JP, maybe get back, and I appreciate that, David. That was good. Getting back to the original question about do we think we've learned anything new about the state of the game? About
Damn, that was the original question, wasn't it?
somewhere back there. I mean, I like where it went, where we discover that, David's an awful human being and beats up animals and plants. I think that's good that we discovered that.
There needs to be stricter laws.
We probably do. Probably.
Probably. You should have a definitive answer on that. You're a lawyer. You should know this. You should have a
Mother Nature. Fuck you, Mother Nature.
If there's one thing you should know about lawyers is that we are always going to give ourselves an out. You never want to. The answer is always it depends.
I thought I knew you, Patrick.
Oh.
Also, is it really animal abuse if the animals are like superhuman, like killing machines?
Yeah.
Well, bear is a
dogfight arena or dogfighting, David. Because those are pretty close to killing machines. Like if there was a definition of killing machine, I'd think a pit bull might be on the list.
Yeah, I mean, like a bear. I mean, it's animal abuse if you abuse the bear, but that thing's a superhuman killing animal machine.
Save Harambe, man! Come on!
But it's not abuse if the bear's trying to attack me.
So, if there was 100 of us going after the bear, how would we do?
Bear wins.
I think the bear probably wins too.
Do we have fists or do we have some sort of pointy implement?
No weapons.
No weapons.
No weapons.
I mean,
but it's
has the bear been doing cardio?
Is the bear on cocaine?
Well, that's a good question. Are the 100 people? Are the 100 humans on cocaine too? That might be an important thing to know.
Like if the bear's got good cardio, he's gonna fuck some dudes up. Like you can't punch a bear. Are you kidding me?
How does a
We're talking about a grizzly bear, right? I mean, assuming.
How does a bear do cardio? I mean, do they go for a long bike ride or something? I guess I just never thought about.
They like run hills and shit.
Yeah, but I guess I just never really thought about bears having real intentional cardio training.
Yeah.
And I suppose if you're going to fight 100 humans, you got to get ready for it.
Yeah, you gotta get ready a little bit.
Fair. That's fair.
So, state of the game?
What's that?
Is that what we were talking about? We were talking about state of the game?
We were talking about state of the game. I was going to comment that we actually started recording this a little earlier than we usually do, and I don't know that we've ever gone this far off the rails in the midst of a podcast, and I'm here for it. So I'm all about this. It's fantastic. But yes, going back to the actual, do we think we've learned anything else about the state of the game? Just in general, where are things at? How have things changed? I think when you go to a high level tournament, or you have a high level tournament like this, where some of the best players around are mixing it up, I do think you really get to stress test the state of the game and where it's at and what works. So what was your impression about that after the event?
Well, I did call the top 5 affiliations, so I kind of had a pretty good idea of what was going to be there. I think there's a little skew with it, but I do think it is kind of revealing as far as just the general meta. Like, I don't think Kingpin is going to be as played as it was there. Not that there was like a shitload of Kingpin players, but they made the top 5. But like, I think Midnight Suns top team, Servants top team, Avengers top team, and I noticed like a lot of players who will post their lists on Discord and stuff kind of brought their just normal lists. They just made it work with the team environment. So I think there is a lot of indication of where the current meta is by looking at the list from this tournament and kind of keeping in mind that there are some affiliations that might be a little heavier played because of the structure. I think there are a ton of options, and I think the meta feels really the healthiest it's felt in a long time. And nothing seems super oppressive. There aren't models that are just problems. I mean, it's a bell curve for sure, but I feel like they've addressed the most egregious things with the Crisis update and the Kaiju nerfs that they did. I'm really looking forward to seeing where the game state or the meta is once they release the character updates. I'm hoping. I mean, I think they've been pretty on point with the character updates. I don't think they've had to go back and nerf anybody that they've updated aside from Bucky. I guess they've had to double nerf a couple people, but that's probably fine. I'd rather have them. I hate it when something gets over nerfed.
Yeah.
It just feels really bad. Thanos. But I think the game can probably, the game has been terrorized by Thanos since he came out, so it's probably fine to just let him rot for the rest of the lifespan of this game until we see a V2. Just because it's Thanos.
Or until the rest of Black Order gets buffed up enough where you can play Black Order.
Yeah. That's a whole nother tangent, but right. I mean, Black Order objectively was super nerfed by the Thanos nerf, so 100%. They would have to get some major plastic surgery rework here.
Yeah, Supergiant would have to be a beast.
Everybody would need a rework. To some extent. There's some Black Order's characters who are close. They're decent. Black Swan's decent. Black Dwarf's decent. Ebony Maw's decent, but the sum of the parts is just not there.
Yeah.
They don't feel good. And the Thanos just being worse. Yeah. Everything's bad. Everything's bad with Black Order. But yeah, the game state, the state of the meta, I do think I really like it. I think it's really good. I'm excited for the new character updates. Yeah. I'm really hoping that kind of solidifies. Well, anytime there's how many are there? 40? Weren't they talking about 40 characters or something like that?
Over the not in this kind of batch.
What's the first wave? You know?
I think if I remember correctly, on one of the podcasts, one of the Wills said there was going to be somewhere in and around a dozen characters in this kind of first wave, and then we were going to be getting more within a few months, kind of coinciding with them. They're releasing the new character boxes.
Yeah, so that they can actually have new cards that aren't print to play.
Right. So if I'm remembering correctly, what we'll hopefully be getting in the next in the next few days. We're recording on Wednesday the 14th, so it is entirely possible that this entire conversation may be out of date in 48 hours. I certainly hope so. But I think we'll be getting a dozen-ish, hopefully within the next few days.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'm sure it's always fun. It always shakes, especially if there's some really relevant changes to either affiliations or characters that become like very good. Like when Bucky got a buff, man, he was everywhere. Like just stuff like that. And obviously he was a little overtuned because they went back and nerfed him, but
it took Daredevil from a character that never gets played to a character that sees a ton of play.
well, it gave him a leadership, right? That's pretty cool.
Right.
Like
Right.
that's a major change. So hopefully it doesn't disrupt this good vibe of like healthy meta. Hopefully it makes it better.
Alex, what were your impressions on kind of just the state of the game after playing at Squad Goals?
I think the state of the game is peak. It is so good right now. I enjoyed the fact that like the top 3 affiliations that were taken were a good mix of everything. There was scory, there was mid-range type of teams, and there were attrition teams. So it was great. I think the meta's at a very good point right now, and I'm just excited for the future with the character updates, and just excited to see more crises coming out next year to see if this ball just keeps rolling.
David, any thoughts on the state of the game?
I think pay to flips are coming in vogue. I think a lot of teams are running pay to flips because they're good at them, and the pay to flips are a lot more neutral than they were before. So I think that's gonna be the part of the meta that so maybe it maybe we'll see more X-Men players because of it. But yeah, I think that's the thing that I've noticed that's prevalent because there's like I was running 2 pay to flips and I was running. I guess Deadline isn't a pay to flip, but I wanted to run crystals and I ended up running an Infinity Formula because Alex needed crystals and because he ran all pay to flips too. So like I feel like that's like, and I played on at least 3 pay to flips. So like I think pay to flips are in.
Okay, let's maybe wrap things up. Any kind of last thoughts or impressions or anything else that you kind of want to get off your chest for from Squad Goals 95? JP?
Fuck canisters. You know what? Fuck Shang-Chi too.
Putting that down in ink. Alex?
I agree with JP's second statement. Fuck Shang-Chi, but for the opposite reason, because fuck that guy. He needs to be brought in line. God damn it. No, I've got nothing else special to say other than I'm just excited for what's to come, and I'm excited for Colossus to get even better.
David, which part of the game would you like to fuck?
I'm gonna say Hawkeye definitely fucks. Like that dude is way better than people think he is, and you should be playing more of him because he was a blast. Like if he gets a hammer, it's just like it's stupid. I'm gonna just like port over here, double shoot you. Oh, I got a hammer, so now it's 6 dice builders that I can pick whatever I want on, and they give relevant conditions, and I can ignore your line of sight and cover. Like he's really good.
All right. Well, webheads, if any of you guys, and I know we did get a chance, I know we all got a chance to talk to some folks at Squad Goals who were listening to the podcast. It was really fun to get that feedback. If you guys have been to Squad Goals and you want to share some thoughts, we'd love to hear it on the socials. If that's something, if going to a team event is something that you're looking forward to, or thoughts about things, we'd love to hear from it. We'd love to hear back. You can reach us at all the socials at Witty Bantercast. You can email us at wittybantercast@gmail.com. And of course, you can always reach out to us at the Patreon at patreon.com/wittybantercast. Hopefully, we will be back in your ears in a very short period of time talking about all the cool new character updates that are coming. When that drops, we are planning to get a cast out to you as soon as we can with our reactions to it. So hopefully, until a very short period of time from now, until next time, webheads, be good.